Welcome to the Monster Forge. Today is our first video in here. So, board our investors, if you would like to try your might against us, you may leave your own tests of might in the suggestion box below and we might end up fighting them eventually. But for now, and for today, we are only going to be trying our might against Goji Center's Indom 2.0. The first one on our list is Tyrannocrocus Vindex. This thing. It has Tyrannocrocus as a base for semi-aquatic nature to prevent the teeth from rotting because it's a crocodile. It also has Allosaurus for its head crest and for its aggression. It has common octopus for its color changing skin, mostly just spread across its spikes and its head and crest for intimidation displays. It has cone snail just to be a paralytic venom, and that it sweats out just kind of like Hank, but this is the right venom considering this doesn't contain glycoproteins and it's also instant. So if you bite the Vindex, you will probably get poisoned. If you slash the Vindex and later slash something else and eat that flesh, you will probably get poisoned. You can't even eat the carcass of a Vindex because the snail venom would still kill you. Okay, moving on. It has cat, just common house cat for its reaction speed, papillae on tongue, and its complete botulism resistance. It has vulture for complete immunities and many resistances to corpse germs like anthrax and botulism, to counteract the Indominus plague, which is becoming very relevant in this scenario at least. It also has Thorny Devil for spreading spikes across all of its tail, its back, and its head, so that you can't kick it and you can't step on it to disable it. Considering this thing is really low to the ground, and stepping on it would be a really easy way to disable it. But you can no longer do that, considering it's now covered in sharp thorns that are also coated in the venom, that would leave you paralyzed if you stepped on it, like a world's worst pincushion. What is happening over there? Don't worry, it's just a gas leak. We'll get to deal with that later. Some other things that this thing has is, if you see the grey skin on its tail and its feet, they are courtesy of Paleoloxodon, which also supplies its brain and changing the thorn material from bone and keratin to dentin and enamel, which are far stronger and found in the Paleoloxodon's tusks. But modern elephants as well, but Paleoloxodon just has the more impressive stature. What else is there? I have stick insect in here, Indian stick insect specifically, for its apomictic parthenogenesis, which allows it to basically clone itself, really fast, while keeping up with the Indominus's reproduction rate. Keep in mind, the goal of this thing is not to beat the Indom in a 1v1, although it certainly could, but the goal here is to basically cause its own separate localized extinction event, which would include knocking out every small life form that the Indom would have missed, like fish in rivers and ponds, or birds in the sky, or maybe every chameleon lying around there. A few other things to mention about this thing is that it has Komodo dragon for iron teeth, well, not fully iron teeth, but iron coatings on the teeth, serrations on the teeth, and its venom, which, although it contains glycoproteins, would still cause the Indom to bleed out and become anemic, which wouldn't last for very long, but anemia causes insane stamina deficiency, which means the Indom would get tired out really quickly. This thing is effectively 50 to 70 feet, depending on what time of its life you pick at, you find it, but it has the capability to grow up to 320 feet, with the North American alligator, supplying its maximum growth rate of 1 foot per year at its youth, but scaled up to Dinosaurus proportions, which leads to 4 feet per year. And with a lifespan of around 80 years by Paleoloxodon, Vindex could grow up to 320 feet. Keep in mind, Godzilla from GXK is 393 feet. So this thing could fight Godzilla. Its walking posture with its feet more directly below it, is also courtesy of the North American alligator. Most crocodilians walk with their feet splayed out to the side, which causes insane lack of speed and stamina when walking long distances on land. But in a chase, the Vindex would have to be able to walk pretty far and decent speed, so it keeps the alligator's walking posture. The axe head tail you see here is courtesy of Stegosaurus, uh, ankylosaurid, which is fairly small, smaller than an average person by about 50%, that had a flat axe head tail. And unlike its larger relatives of Ankylosaurus or Euplocephalus, which had club tails, this thing had a flat axe tail, which would not slow down the Vindex, let's say, while swimming, because a heavy club tail would let the tail droop and sink without providing much extra defense or propulsion. But a large flat axe-head tail will allow the Vindex to either propel itself much faster like a dolphin or a whale, but since the crocodile swim by moving their tail side to side and not up and down like whales and dolphins, the crocodile, while swinging its tail back and forth, Tyrannocrocus Vindex would still be able to generate some lift underneath the tail, keeping it afloat and not actually hindering its propulsion and swimming in the water. Some side views of this thing are as follows, but there's a lot of common octopus chromatophores scattered across its spikes, allowing them to camouflage with the body, making them harder to spot. Here's a picture of the changing process. Its body armor is supplied by Cuvius dwarf caiman, and much like the African dwarf croc in the Indom's 2.0 DNA, it has full body armor and actually a little bit more, giving it eye protection with scutes covering its eyelids. That is all from me. I will be handing off to our co-founder.
Okay, hello, I am the co-founder of the Monster Forge, and well, here's my take on a hybrid. Although my friend went for the more like rounded, maybe somewhat slow or mainly power focused kind of route, I went min min-maxing, maybe mainly focused on power, not too focused on speed. So this hybrid is Goober. Yes, I actually named him that. He is about,
It's an
well,
acronym.
yeah, almost 13 meters long, about 42 feet. Uh, he's about 14 feet tall and really heavy at about 87 tons. Yeah. So the genetic contributors I use for Goober is a hippo for the main body, muscle mass, thick skin, and the warm blood. The Andean condor for the pathogen resistance, Arapaima for the armored scales, the bonnet head shark for parthenogenesis, mako shark for their endurance and adding gills, the blue ringed octopus for tetrodotoxin, the sperm whale for growth rate, the titanoboas for their growth limit at about over 40 feet.
It's like how the modern day hybrid, the liger, can grow larger than both its parent species, and specifically I mean male lion and female tiger, because otherwise the tyon gets smaller than its parents. The way this works is that male lions have a growth gene that allows the young to get much larger than them, but females have an opposing set of genes that counter this and keep them about the same size. So this is how the Titanoboa has, well, this is an inhibitor gene that stops it from getting far too large.
Okay, so I also used a honey badger for their intelligence and as an added bonus, their aggressive behavior, and Argentinosaurus for the honeycomb bone structure to support its weight so that it doesn't collapse on itself. Uh, since the saltwater crocodile has a slow metabolism and a really robust digestive system, it also helps out Goober in being an omnivore. I also included the termite's symbiotic relationship with some gut bacteria so that Goober can digest cellulose so that it can eat almost anything.
It's like an ecosystem engineer. It eats literally everything while supporting some of the ecosystems within it, like creating pathways through dense woods for larger creatures to walk through.
Yeah, that's about it. I think it's our lead geneticist's turn, if I'm not wrong.
All right. So introducing Bob. He's basically something that is not built for size. It's built for like agility, but it also has some of the strength that I feel is able to let it have a chance at dueling the Indominus. Okay, so kicking it off. This man here has a Megalania build, meaning that it is not very tall or very long, but it's 7 meters long and it's only like around a meter tall. All right. So covering its outer body and its limbs, no, not its limbs, its pangolin scales and the scales, the things that are covering its limbs, underbody, and jaw. Wait, not jaw. It's the saltwater croc scales. And under those scales have very tough skin of the leatherback turtle. All right, continuing on, we have the hawk's claws, talons, and visions. Okay, I just want to point out here, I'm the lead geneticist here, totally not because I
Our
have.
actual lead geneticist jumped in the forge a while back after getting knocked in by one of our hybrids. So this is the intern that we just promoted on the spot because we annoyed us to fill the gap.
And I decided that the way I was going to beat Indominus Rex was to put a bunch of stuff together that I think complement each other and that I think will be able to top
There's over
Indominus.
40 contributors in here.
It's just my opinion, okay? All right, moving on. It has a bunch of traits from the King Cobra, including its venom, its spine and rib cage, of course, scaled up to the size of the Megalania, as well as its jaw flexibility. Next up, we have the Great White Shark's like tooth replacement system, so that if it loses teeth, you won't be able, you will not be like the average old person who needs dentures.
It's
It
also
could just
He also
grow
uses the
itself.
fluoride covered factor of the shark teeth, where they are naturally coated in fluoride, which is what we use in mouthwash, allowing the teeth to never get cavities. On screen is also a picture of more adolescent Bob.
Okay, continuing on. Its eyes are a composition of hawk's eyes that enable it to see pretty good in the night, and the owl's ability to be able to see quite well in the dark. It might
Basically,
not.
this thing has both nocturnal and diurnal vision, allowing it to see well in both light settings.
Alright, so moving on. It might not seem like it's a very good overall agile guy, but then here are the traits that help. I went with the musculature of a gibbon tail to be able for it to be prehensile and be able to basically move, wriggle around and like give it some support.
Basically,
Here,
it's another weapon and also another limb when attempting to climb steeper surfaces, like climbing a mountain face or scaling a very large thick tree or scaling a abandoned building.
yes. Continuing on. So you might be wondering, what makes it so that its muscles, what's so special about its muscles? Basically, I took muscles from three different animals. First, the cheetah's fast twitch fibers, so we'll be able to have, quick reactions.
Explosive bursts of speed allow for it to move really fast for a short time.
Yes, yes. As well as the wolf's slow twitch fibers, which prolong its overall stamina.
allowing it to run for great distances, but albeit and not at that great of a pace.
And most importantly, it has a super dense, like super dense packed muscle fibers.
Courtesy of a horn dung beetle, which allow for it to be really strong when doing something like a grappling maneuver or just lunging onto something, giving it immense strength in its forelimbs and its hind limbs.
So now it's time to move on to his brain. We have the giant Pacific octopus's brain neuroplasticity, meaning that it is able to rapidly learn and adapt. This behavior is sort of complemented by the crow intelligence, which basically boosts its battle and combat senses and tactical reasoning. Most importantly, it has mantis shrimp reflexes so that it's able to detect and move away from threats as fast as the opponent strikes them. Moving on, it is time for both venom, no, I mean toxin, immunity, and infliction. I took a whole lot of toxins from a whole lot of different animals. You're gonna have to bear with me here.
There's like 7 of them.
Okay, so basically, they are each animal that produces this toxin is immune to the toxin they are produced. So I'm not going to like double mention them. Starting off, we have the pufferfish, which has tetrodotoxin, which is a type of neurotoxin that is able to do pretty substantial damage. And moving on, we have stonefish venom, which has cytotoxin and immunotoxin. Cytotoxin basically causes the death of the cells, and immunotoxin basically targets the animal's immune system, making it not as well as able to like defend itself against the toxin. And we have the infamous king cobra. I specifically took one toxin, which is the cardiotoxin from this king cobra, as it's able to affect the cardiovascular function of its targets, are basically making its heart not be able to function as well. Next on, we have the Gila monster, which supplies us with its hemotoxin, which basically poisons the blood of the bitten animal. Continuing on, we have the scorpion, which supplies the myotoxin, and the brown recluse spider, which supplies a necrotoxin. This causes death the most in in the tissue of which it has been bitten on. Moving on to its regeneration and lifespan. Bob here has the lifespan of a Greenland shark, meaning that it can live for a super long time. And it has the regeneration capabilities of a hydra, meaning that if it loses a limb in battle, it can grow it back, but it takes quite some time.
Keep in mind, he means Hydra the animal, not the mythical dragon with multiple heads that sprouts a new one when it's cut off. You do not need a flaming sword to defeat this one.
Alright. To its arguably more important part, its immune system. It has the immune system of 3 different animals combined. First is the Nagamo rat, which is immune to cancer and tumors, but most importantly, bacteria and fungi. Yeah, and fungi. Next off, we have the Indian vulture. It is able to detox toxins and is resilient against heavy metal poisoning. Lastly, we have the bat, who is capable of poison detoxification and is safe from common viruses. Okay, moving on. The most special point about Bob is that he's able to harness iron metals, mainly iron and some other earth materials.
Rare earth minerals is
Yeah,
in very
in,
small proportion because it's not very common.
yeah,
And
in very small proportions, but this rare earth minerals won't make much of a difference. So the main composition is iron. This iron is biomineralized into its scales such that it is lightweight but also maximizes safety.
and strength.
So this is just purely based on my estimation, but it weighs around 1.5 tons. So it is the target of this is not for it to be like an extinction event. The target of this is to solely kill kill the Indominus Rex without
In a
causing
1v1, that's it.
without causing, and it reproduces parthenogenically
Parthenogenically.
at such a slow rate that its numbers won't like overrun the island.
There's also an attack you forgot to mention where it was kind of based off Sonic the Hedgehog, where it curls up in a really spiky ball, just like a pangolin, and it may still use its tail to lash at enemies trying to cut them. Here's a very quickly done demographic of its teeth and its dental structure and its size. It's not huge, but it's mobile enough to probably take the Indom down.
Yes, so like the best part about Bob here is that he's able to climb on things due to like its powerful musculature and its prehensile tail. So it's able to latch on to like larger predators and be able to claw them from behind.
Alright, I believe that is all from our lead geneticists. One final touch note I forgot to mention about Tyrannocrocus Vindex is that he has the layered hexagonal structure of the shock absorbing armor that completely covers the boxfish. I forgot whether I mentioned this already or not, but if I did, no, here it is. You may post your own mighty beasts in the suggestion box below, but for now, this is all we'll be doing. We post bi-weekly, and we'll see you next time.
Wait. I forgot to mention two things. I mean necessary one thing. I forgot to mention about its special immunity. Like one of its trump cards is like the African bullfrog, which is immune to chronotoxin, and I believe that's all from me.
Alright, that's it. See you next time. We hope to see you back again soon. Bye.